Welcome to another episode of the All Pop No Culture podcast. I'm your host this week, Kevin. This is a fun episode because it's literally a continuation of the last episode. We intended to end where the last episode ended, and then we ended up talking for like another hour and a half. So this is all the stuff that we kept talking about. That's not quite as topical, but it works because last week I was down with COVID. Andrew was out. He was kind of tired. So we skipped an episode because we had this content. So it may not be our traditional episode, but we talk about what it was like growing up in Canada and some of the TV shows and PSAs that they had growing up in Canada, Andrew and Leah. And then we talk about a little bit about Marvel and DC and the things they have coming down the pipe. So it's nothing new and exciting, but it was a lot of fun for us. So we decided to use it, take advantage of it, and give you something to listen to this week. And then we'll be recording again for our next episode, where we'll probably be talking about Picard as the season finale is right before we record. So we hope you enjoy this one. It was a lot of fun.
Leah!
Yay!
Ah! I'm seeing you in person. Oh my god, this is so fucking cool.
I can't believe it's been 32 years.
That's wild.
It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since I still think the 90s is 10 years ago.
Right? Yeah.
Like I can't wrap my head. I have to get the calculator out sometimes and like actually do the math to make sure I'm thinking it right, because that just doesn't make sense.
And it's like, even like when I hear like a song like Poison or like,
Yeah, that
90s
was
tunes,
not long
they
ago.
sound cool. But now it's like, no, dude, like think back when you were like in elementary school. That's like listening to like The Twist or like something like.
But that's
like
all
the
I'm
same-
still listening to. Like when
Yeah.
I'm doing cardio, that's the music I have
Yes.
going. So I haven't moved past that. So in my mind, like that's current music still, because I don't even know what's on the radio now. I don't listen to the radio. I just listen to my little plug in.
So
with all my
it's
music
so
on.
funny in that regard because we've turned into our parents who always listen to
Yes.
music that was like
Yes.
2 decades before us. It's because at some point you're like, this new
You're
stuff
like,
sucks.
this
And
stuff
that
is
stuff was good, and
trash.
that's all I'm gonna listen to.
Let's go to the
Well,
sock hop.
My dad's like, Papa loves mambo. Like, that like 60s shit. I'm just like, what? And it's just like, he stopped at the 80s.
Awful.
The 80s is like where he stopped. And
Yeah.
I think I stopped at like really the 2010s. Like, I'll fuck with some.
Yeah, 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy how that
Up
works.
to that. It's weird. I don't know. Maybe it must just be a nostalgia. Like that's the nostalgia.
But the difference is though
Thing,
now,
right?
because we have YouTube, it's crazy. A lot of the kids of today listen to our shit. Like,
Yeah.
because they have access. Like that's the
Yeah.
difference. That's why even the sounds of music, it's almost like a funnel, right? Because there was no like 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and all of a sudden 2000s. It's just kind of
Yeah.
like you can find anything, any genre really.
Well,
but
and
really,
Spotify and Apple Music,
trap-
right?
like yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can
So-
just search all the music and get it. Whereas when we were kids, the
You
music you
had to
wanted
go
to hear,
buy.
it was on the radio or you spent your money on tapes.
That's what I
And,
was. I just
yeah.
had that conversation with somebody. I'm like, you heard my dentist. I had to go get a bunch of dental work done, and the woman helping him, the assistant, was my age, and so we were talking about like LL Cool J and having the boom box and blah blah blah, and he didn't know what we were fucking talking about. And he is like, so like after he was done, he's like, I didn't want to say anything, but I don't know what a boom box is.
I know.
And we were like, what?
yeah.
And so we had to give him like a whole breakdown of what that meant. Like, I'm like, you could take it out to the sidewalk, and then
you put in your fucking D-cell batteries in there.
like
So
you
could
had
take the
like
goddamn thing
15
around.
batteries in the thing, and you could take your music outside. Yeah, no, he's obviously like he's too young to. He's probably late 20s or maybe 30. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
But like I was just like, what are you talking about? So I told him he had to go home and look up an old LL Cool J video to like get it.
Yeah. Well, that's the
like,
thing. Like the kids don't understand music videos the way we did, because when music videos broke, it was because of TRL, because they stopped showing videos in their entirety. It was like, here's like this 60% of a video, and then we're going to talk over half of it, and then we're going to move to the next one, and we're going to do this as fast as we can. And like TRL is in my opinion what broke the music video genre. Like they still make them and all that, but before
Not the
TRL, you had blocks of time that were just music videos.
Yes.
Like you had
Yeah, the music
November
station
Rain.
was all
You
videos.
had, yeah,
They played music.
exactly.
Like, Much Music, baby. Okay, also Much Music actually used to play the same thing 3 times a day. So it was like 8-hour blocks. So
Yeah.
you could watch something at 6:30 and then watch it again
catch
at 12:30 and then watch it again at 6:30 in the morning, you know? So
Yeah.
it's just kind of like, I think MTV kind of like was actually kind of the birth of reality TV when you think about it, because the
Yes.
Real World was
Yes,
the first
sure.
reality TV kind of show that really, so music went away. And I feel like music videos went away too. And you're right, TRL, because that was kind of reality TV in a way, because it was just kind of like, it's just Carson Daly talking to like the artists in the studio audience. Again, I don't know what happened with Much Music, but I love Much Music. And
Much Music was pretty much all videos, except
okay.
I think it was Saturday mornings they'd play S Club 7, which I was obsessed with, and I watched all of
S
them.
Club 7?
S Club 7 had a show. Yeah.
I know some of their music. What
They had a TV show, so it was probably
that.
the first
S
show that was happening on a music. Yeah, and did you hear one of the guy from S Club 7 died
No.
just this week? And I had to look it up. Ed the Sock so was Ed the Sock not there? It was here, right?
What's that?
Do you know who Ed the Sock is?
I don't know. No, I don't.
Oh God. Okay, so it was definitely a Much Music thing then. So Ed the Sock was a dirty sock on someone's hand that would do reviews of videos and would kind of tear them apart or whatever. Like it was kind of like the Grouch,
like a Triumph, the insult dog.
Yeah, and he had a skit making fun of S Club 7, and he would say like something along the lines of like bucktooth girl, sporty girl, filler, and Rachel, because Rachel was the hot one and the guys were just filler. Right. So like when I saw that the guy from S Club 7 died, I said to Jamie, I'm like, filler died because I couldn't remember his name and I didn't even recognize him or know him, but he knew what I was talking about because we both remembered the Ed the Sock, like calling them that. And so I had to look it up to remember, but there was like 3 guys and 4 girls, and one of the guys died this week.
That's sad. 2 things. So one, Canada was definitely, you got more exposure to like international music. So I remember
because they were British.
They're from the UK, I want to say.
Yeah, they were.
So you get a lot of UK stuff on Much Music, right? But when I moved here, it was like, nope. If you're not, it's all American. Like we're just in our little bubble, right? And I remember when I was in Nova Scotia, I could get everything else and then look into the American bubble. But then the one thing I will also say though, straight up, and you can tell me now if it's true, but taking it back, CFDR was like the only place you could listen to like, you know, anything like Bobby Brown, Velvet Devil, whatever. C100, there's no FM, there's no R&B on FM dials, right?
No, you'd listen to CKDU.
You are so dope for saying that. Holy
CKDU
shit. Sundays,
on the weekends,
CKDU.
and then I'd have the tape, and I'd be like,
same, dude.
trying to like record it, and
make
then
sure
if
that the antenna was right, it was a little staticky. But in the US, that was for me the biggest mind blowing fuck, like whatever. Like as soon as we came here, like hip hop on FM, like it was holy shit. And it was like all the remixes, and then we had this thing called Summer Jam in the Bay Area where it was like straight up concert being broadcast over the airwaves. Wow. So we got a lot of fucking love out here. But anyway, going back to S Club really quick. That's why you know who they are, because again, I felt like in Canada you just get more everything, whereas in the US it's pretty insular. It's trade-offs at the end of the day.
You done it, yeah.
I'm sorry, I know we're prolonging this shit, but like I'm sorry, Kevin. Just like we haven't talked to each other for a while. So like
he's just like whatever. I'm here.
Yeah. You're learning some Canadian shit, man.
Yeah.
Well, if you want, do you remember the Heritage Minutes? That's where we got our Canadian history as kids, like in the 80s. They would play Heritage Minutes on TV. They were just like 1 or 2 minute commercials.
Okay, I didn't call them Heritage Minutes, but yeah, I remember.
Heritage Minutes is like the, I guess, brand or whatever, like
got it.
Like the videos.
Oh God.
So like, you know, like the Kanata, do you remember like that's how Canada got its name? So
okay, I'm gonna
indigenous You don't, and I'll have to send you the link to the actual clip. Yeah.
Like there's all these little things, or also like the log people thing.
The log rolling one.
Yes,
I loved that one. It was my favorite.
I've gone to YouTube to look up shit. Okay. Also, I'm gonna be a total nerd. Whatever. You want to get some food, but it's late. On down to Green Gables. Morning,
yeah.
Okay.
I
Also,
remember that.
there's one song. It was called "Old People." It was like these two women. It was like, oh, it was very like Anne Murray, like folk guitar on ASN. They're like, old people. Someone say hello in there. Hello. Anyway, I'm sorry.
I sort of recognize that tune.
You do?
But
Okay, good.
I can't place what it was.
No worries. But I loved but I loved all the vignettes like that they would do.
Yeah.
The woman in the shoe, the old lady in the shoe with the
I forgot about that one, but the host
don't just think about it. Do it.
Yeah. Do you remember the one telling us not to eat chemicals and garbage? The scary Muppets that were what was it called?
If anything
it would
happened
sing like don't put it in your mouth.
Why do you think your mommy or daddy are always telling you, don't put that in your mouth? Let's find out.
Don't you put it in your mouth. Don't you put it in your mouth. Don't you stuff it in your face. Don't stuff it in your face.
I wish I did.
It was like a PSA telling kids not to to ask an adult before they eat this thing, and it's these scary, creepy Muppets like singing it, but that song gets in your head. And so there was all these like PSAs that would be like, that's how they taught kids in the 80s.
I'm asked
not to eat the chemicals.
I could put my arm back on.
That was one of them.
So play safe.
He lost his arm. That's parents didn't teach us that stuff. The PSA on the CBC taught us not to eat the chemicals or chop our arm off in a car accident.
We could. Okay.
I don't remember what the other ones were, but there's like the Canada one is like Canada was named after the indigenous word Kanata, means the village.
Oh.
And so whoever, I don't remember the details of who the guy was, called it Kanata, or the indigenous guy was saying Kanata, trying to tell him it was the village, and the white guy was like, I think Canada. Like that. Yeah, that's the name of the country. I discovered this place, like, or something like that, right? But yeah, so Canada is an indigenous word meaning the village.
Thank you. Okay, that's got to make the show because we got to be educational. So
I'll find the Heritage Minute for that. Secretly, I kind of love the targeted advertising too.
Dude, I love that shit. Do you know how much cool shit I've gotten from Facebook?
Me too. Like they just keep showing me those shoes.
Like I got my Finn jacket that way. Like, yeah, I have a Finn jacket from like fucking Force Awakens, man. Like, and then Finn sucks. Anyway, but like I give me the algorithm.
It gets me too. Yeah.
I hashtag the algorithm. That's how
it's not just the algorithm though, man. The internet's spying on you. Did I tell you my story about when I knew that my phone was listening to everything I fucking do? My wife and I were planning on going to Italy. And everything was closed.
Here's the flights.
No, phones were on the counter, computers were closed. We were just talking in the kitchen because she was already going. So she was going for a yoga retreat with some friends of hers because she taught yoga, and so it was actually going to be a write-off for her because she was going to do this thing. And so I was like, absolutely, you should go. And I was just going to send her by herself. And then my mom was like, she's like, you should go if she's going to be there. So my wife actually got 2 weeks there because she went with her friends for a week, and I didn't want to interrupt that. I wasn't going to be part of that. So I went the week after and met her there. But we were talking about like, oh, what should we do? And I don't drink. Like, I don't drink at all. And so I didn't want to go on winery tours or anything. But just talking, I was like, oh, it'd be cool as if they did like espresso tours. Like if you go and try different espressos or whatever. And that was like literally all I said because they didn't have an, like 10, 15 minutes later, she gets on her computer, she's on Facebook, and it's like espresso tours in Italy.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I was like, oh, fuck. Yeah. I was like.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh, it's a thing.
Neither did I. Yeah. But like, I didn't know it was a thing either. That's why I was just like, oh, that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
And like I said, no computers were open. Phones were in the pockets or on the counter.
So weird.
Like nothing. And I was like, cool. Now I know what's happening in the world. Like now I get it.
I kind of
Like-
feel like if my phone wants to listen to me, whoever's on the other side is
That's
gonna
where I am
have a
too.
really boring
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
like,
not exciting
I'm not,
enough. Like I'm
not doing anything that's worth spying on.
yeah.
Like,
If the FBI is listening to everything I
fun.
do, I just apologize. I'm sorry. You
Yeah.
know, like
yeah.
I'm not a spy. I'm not dealing drugs. I'm not doing, like, I'm boring as shit. If you're involved in my life, I'm sorry.
You suck. Yeah.
You're at the bottom of the food chain, and I apologize to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's funny when people complain about the advertising because I mean, mine's only showing me stuff I'm looking at anyway. Like there's a book
Yeah.
site I go to all the time because I'm addicted to ordering shoes and books. So like I'm always on this book and it just like brings it up all the time. And I'm like, yes, it's been like 5 minutes since I ordered books. I probably do need more. And then so like I'm on there just like adding to my cart and like it's all stuff that I want to see anyway, pretty much. Or sometimes it'll be random, but
And that's how I know you're INTJ, because you're rational. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I am
that's like,
irrational.
yeah. It's like stop the madness. But the fact of the matter is, I would say at least half, and I would say more than half, are like, I'm paranoid. The algorithm knows me. I'm scared. Leave me alone. I'm like, dude, it's helping you. Like, it's actually like it. And also, at the end of the day, you're feeding it. You're teaching it what.
Yeah.
Just lean into it, man. But whatever. I'm not gonna.
I know. Like, if people only see negative things, then.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm leaving it alone.
I know. And if people are only posting negative things, then I've got them hidden.
It's on you. If you're posting things and you're
So I there's people I forget are in my friends list because I hid them years ago.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that person because I don't see them in my feed. Because if you've been posting for 6 months and every single thing has been a negative comment, probably I'm hiding you.
I love it.
I just don't care.
Yes. Too short.
It's because I don't have the empathy. The F one is missing for me. The INTJ, whatever the F is, right?
You know, the F is feeler.
I think so that's missing in my.
I'm sure you got some feeler in you.
I don't know, man. I think the empathy bar is pretty low.
Okay. Fair.
So, I forgot to bring up that I'm doing my Marvel rewatch.
Oh yeah, I was doing that too. How are you doing? Are you doing it in release order and storyline?
No,
order?
I did it in timeline order. I wish I had done it in release order. I kind of regret the timeline order, but I'm in it now. I'm halfway through, so.
I've got a big fat list of mine.
But I'm not doing the TV shows I'm just doing the movies.
I am now.
I can't compare the TV shows to the movie. Like, I just think that TV shows need to be ranked against themselves. Right? Like, it's too hard.
Oh, here we go. Check this out. So I'll show you. Since we're living in the technology age here.
I got up to so the last one
this is how I've organized mine. So I did the overall list, which is everything.
Oh, so you know what I was going to ask you? Are you including the Hulk with?
I did the Incredible Hulk, the first one.
Ed Norton.
The one
Norton, because it's technically the MCU. Because
yeah, so I had forgotten about it, and then I watched it like kind of when I remembered it.
You can see it right here.
Oh, yeah.
It's at the bottom of the list.
Well, my bottom is Iron Man 3 because it's too much Gwyneth Paltrow.
That's fair. But yeah, so I started my phase 4, but I'm only partway through WandaVision because WandaVision was the first thing to hit in phase 4. But
so you're doing TV shows?
I am including the TV shows because they're
you can see where I'm
canon to the things that happen. I'm including them. I've been on a little bit of a pause, so I need to get back into it because I don't want to drift too far in time between watching things because I'll lose some of the perspective on.
I find it hard to rank them.
Wow, Iron Man is surprisingly low in the overall. Like you ranked Thor above Iron Man. And
I did the first
Ant-Man.
Thor. Yeah. I think.
See,
it
I
helped
haven't
to
gotten
watch
to
them
the
and
end.
rank them here. Yeah.
I'm just doing them in order that because the Disney has the timeline order
Yes.
Yeah.
like there. So I'm just like scrolling through there. But I already know my number one is Infinity War.
Woohoo!
That's
Same.
yeah, and that's always the
So
the
I
thing.
would flip those. Like I know Endgame will be second for me because I can't stand that scene with all the women landing on your face.
Yeah, that's the worst.
And drives me nuts. And then I think my third would be Ragnarok probably.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Ragnarok and then Black Panther. So like I kind of know my top four already just because those are the ones I watch the most.
Yeah.
But I'm having trouble like in the middle, ranking the middle, like Ant-Man and Guardians. I flip back and forth because it's just my mood, what I feel like watching more. So I don't really.
Well, it's funny when you really sit down and watch them as close together as you can and force yourself to watch all of them. You find out really interesting things. Like I expected this Spider-Man Far From Home to be further up the list because I like it. Like I really like it.
Mine's kind of far. Well, mine's maybe the middle, but I'm only, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's gonna end up kind of down.
Well, and like we've talked about it, Andrew, before, where
Ultron
Age
I've
of
always
Ultron,
liked.
but like originally when it first came out, you're kind of like, I don't know.
I know people. I always liked it, and I know people.
I'm a huge James Spader fan, so it was higher up there for me.
I think now Ultron ties things in good.
Mm-hmm.
But I always liked it, so I never really admitted that before because everybody hated it, and I was kind of like, well, I don't know.
Leah, I was still DCEU, so I was wanting them
back
to
then.
fail. So when Ultron came out and it wasn't like received as well, I was like, yes, yeah, like cracking the facade. But now, like I feel like
such
Ultron
a big deal.
is the.
I mean, my favorite scene, I think, of all of them is when Vision picks up the hammer. Like I just like it when
and just so casually.
So I've always liked that one. I mean, it's not going to be. It's not going to be in my top, but
my favorite moment in all of the MCU is when Cap gets the hammer in Endgame.
Oh,
like that's that's. But what makes me laugh? What's interesting to me about this list is like you look down here, which feels like the bottom of a list. Like it's for way down, but I like these movies
but it's
a lot.
Still good. I know.
Like
so I haven't gotten to like I just watched Spider-Man Far From Home.
So Doctor Strange is going to be next.
Wait. Spider-Man
Homecoming.
The first one.
Yeah, Homecoming.
Yes.
Homecoming.
So I just watched that one, and before that was Black Widow and
right,
because you do it in timeline order.
Yes.
Black Widow, Black Panther, and then Spider-Man. Those are
which,
the last
to be
three
fair, at least in regards to Black Widow, I wish it had been released a long time ago. A long time ago, yeah. Like it was unfair to put it in Phase 4 when she's already dead. Like it was such a throwaway movie. They're like, look, we gave her a starring role, but fuck it, you know.
Actually, that's what paused me. I had watched through like 15 movies pretty quickly, and when it got to Black Widow being the next one, I wasn't in the mood. So I was kind of like, that's sort of what paused me, and I didn't watch another movie for like a couple weeks. I kind of let the list go to the side because I was like, well, that's my next one, and I'm not in the mood. I'd only ever seen it the once.
Yeah,
it's one of the only ones I hadn't watched more than once. So I just rewatched it. Like I think it was Friday because we were off Good Friday and we took Thursday off. So one of those 2 days, I just rewatched it in the last couple of days. And it wasn't as bad as I remember. Like I just remembered that I don't think I liked it, so I didn't want to like watch it, but it wasn't as bad as I remembered.
I enjoyed it. I just think it was.
Yeah, I didn't mind it, but I like her and her sister.
Exactly.
So,
yes.
Like I like it because now I've seen Yelena in Hawkeye, which is my favorite of the TV ones.
Yeah,
I loved Hawkeye.
So like Hawkeye would be my number one for the TV. I already know, and I know WandaVision is everybody's number one, but I don't care. It's not mine. Because I just like, I don't know, and I didn't actually think I'd love Hawkeye because I wasn't sold on the girl from Pitch. I was like, the girl from Pitch Perfect is in this. That's gonna be dumb. So I didn't think I was gonna like it, but I really did. So
yeah,
they just worked well together. Like it was just a funny combo, and like I
my
just
favorite
liked everybody.
Is the elevator pressing
Yes,
Oh,
with
for
the
sure.
elevator pushing all the buttons. They were
That
so
was
good
amazing.
together. And I liked her when she was like trying to he was like deaf and not being able to hear her, and she's like still trying to talk to him, and like all the arrows aren't labeled and she's trying to figure out what to shoot. Like I just thought there was a lot of funny.
It was witty. Like that's the thing.
Yeah, it
And I
was.
think that's where, I mean, aside from Infinity War and Endgame, even though they have it, a lot of the best moments in the MCU are the witty ones. Like it's
Yeah.
that's always what set it apart from the DCU for me, is that it was
Yes.
it was fun. Like they did not forget what it meant to be a superhero movie, and
Yeah.
DCEU was like, we're gritty as fuck. And I'm like, Superman isn't gritty as fuck, so you already fucked up. Even though I like Man of Steel a lot, that wasn't a Superman movie to me.
Wait, you didn't even like Man of Steel, Leah?
I didn't Superman's not my favorite. Captain America is not my favorite. They're basically the same person. I'm like,
But Captain America is my favorite favorite
Same.
Marvel character.
yeah, I know. I feel like that's all guys' answers. Because I think he's Jamie's favorite too. But I don't know. Captain America is just a pretty
Boring
boy.
to you?
Yeah, he's boring. I don't know. I like him better later when he's with everybody else, but like the first Captain America wouldn't be something I'd sit down and want to watch by myself. I just
Well, see,
Totally
and I love it. And
underrated
that's
film.
it's in my top 10 right now.
Yeah.
I think it'll get knocked out. Maybe it won't
Like,
in
let me
phase
see
4. I
what-
don't know. I've got to think about,
wait, 1, 2, 3.
I don't want to predict because I was trying to base it on what I saw as I saw it.
Wow.
Right now it's 12 for me.
Kev, I remember when before your rewatch, I remember you not being a big fan of Civil War, and I was all about Civil War.
Oh no,
So-
I've always
I
liked
like
Civil
Civil
War.
War.
I've always
Civil
liked
War is
Civil
in my
War.
top.
Okay,
Um,
Civil War is the one that converted me to
Right now, Black Panther is my number 1 and Civil War is number 2. But that's
Okay.
because I haven't gotten
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Infinity War and Endgame
Yeah,
yet.
that was the thing too. With this rewatch, I did not put anything in until I watched it. Like
Okay.
I didn't want to set
Right, like
any,
that's all I have
expectations.
only
Yeah.
written down what I've watched. So
And granted,
it's getting hard because then as I watch one, I have to go figure out where it fits into this list. And at some point I'm gonna have to rewrite it because I'm like
and
handwriting
that's
it
what was
down.
funny.
I'm
Like starting in phase 1, I always knew Endgame was going to be number 1. Like I knew there's
yeah,
nothing
me
that was
too.
going to
I mean,
change
I know
that.
what my number 1 is.
Some things up here surprised me. Like I always thought Black Panther was like my third. But rewatching Civil War and Winter Soldier,
Yeah,
I
those
just
ones
like
are
those
good.
so much.
Winter Soldier's my number 4 right now.
Yeah,
You know what
Winter
I've actually done, just because I'm terrible sometimes. I'm the Paul Abdul of this shit. So I'll do like Infinity War, Endgame, and then tie for number 3, Civil War, Winter Soldier, Black Panther. Like I'll do it that way. They're all on the third.
Can you
tier.
tie though, or is that cheating?
That's cheating.
Is it cheating?
It is cheating. It's definitely cheating.
Because I feel like my whole middle would kind of be tied. Like
Well,
everything in the middle, I
fair.
just feel the same about. But like my bottom right now, and it's probably not changing. My last one is Iron Man 3, and my second last one is Hulk.
Okay,
yeah,
that's consistent.
And I think, and then it's Dark World.
Yep. Yeah, I mean,
Is that what,
and
where's Dark World on? Oh, yours is 4.
yeah, it's the bottom. I mean, Iron Man 2 is kind of at the bottom too.
Iron Man 2 is right above Dark World for me.
Yeah. And it's funny because again, I still kind of like those. I didn't think they were necessarily bad movies.
They're not bad. But
They're just not as good as the other everything that came, I guess, technically after it.
I kind of base it on like how many times do I want to watch this, and if
That's
I've
fair,
only,
yeah.
because
And that's
I
the
will
thing, too,
rewatch
like-
over and over and over, and I don't care. Like I'll just put it on for something. If I
See,
don't know
like,
what to watch, I'll
Endgame to
put
me
one
is
on.
almost too heavy to.
No, I
for
don't
me.
rewatch that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll watch it.
Like
watch
I'll
Endgame
rewatch
anytime.
Ragnarok all the
Yeah.
time.
And these are, and to be fair, like I put these in as a very personal rating because
Yes.
some of these movies, like I've always said, I think Infinity War is the better movie, but Endgame has more moments in it that matter to me.
Yeah.
Like I feel more in Endgame than I do in Infinity War, even though obviously the ending of Infinity War is a big kick in the nuts, right? Like when the credits roll on Infinity War, you're like, fuck. But for me, Endgame emotionally was and there's something to be said about something that can take 20 plus films and wrap them up in a little bow and
Do you
be
know what
excellent.
I wish they had done? The guy that's in Ant-Man, is it Lewis or Louis?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Lewis.
The one that does like
Yeah.
the
The
monologuing.
Yeah.
I wished at the end of Endgame, I was hoping there'd be a closing scene of him recapping like the last 10 years of movies, but like just the stupid stuff that wasn't like a main point. Like I just kind of wanted him to do a weird monologue of everything, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, for me, it's like I
Should have
don't
done
want to
that.
feel like I have like yes, I think Endgame definitely has deeper feels, but I don't want to feel sad or be brought to tears like repeatedly. I don't enjoy that. Like it's cathartic for sure, but the whole movie, like when you go from like Tony, like basically like I'm dead. So here we go. I'm just gonna like record this last message. I'm gonna go to sleep now. And this like spaceship window is in the shape of a cross. It's just like this is heavy shit, you know. And then again, the moment with him and his dad gives him the hug, and it's just like there's just I mean goosebumps just like talking about this shit. I can't do that repeatedly because it's just gonna I'm not looking forward to like I'm just being real. Looking forward to like real deaths in my life that are going to happen. That movie is about dealing with grief. Like that's what that movie is about to me, you know? So like I'm gonna go to that movie when I need to deal with grief, basically. But like Infinity War is just like from start to finish, a perfectly paced adrenaline rush. And it's just like, holy shit, like they pulled it off. Like this movie
the moment when
epic.
Cap shows up when they're facing off with
it's the best.
Like when the train's going by and then he's there, you're like, oh fuck. See, and it's like that moment works for me so much more because Cap is my fucking favorite. Like I'm waiting for him to show up, and when he does, he's just like, cool, you guys are from outer space, we're gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
Right. and one thing that I love that never gets talked about enough is that Black Widow fights all of these things.
Yeah.
She has no superpowers.
Yeah.
She's well trained.
I've questioned that like several times though. I'm kind of like, what is Hawkeye and Black Widow even doing there?
But like, technically like they don't get into it enough, but Hawkeye does have like he is
obviously they've
super
got
in a way but in the comic books like he is more than that.
Oh, like, I thought he was just some guy with arrows, right? And
he hasn't been
kind of always joked that
he
was going to be the one to kill Thanos. One of his arrows is just going to kill Thanos, and we don't need any of the other ones.
No, he like in the comic books at one point, like he's got to get out of something, and he rips off his fingernail and like throws it at something, and like the things that he can do are superhuman to a degree. He's not like maybe he's a mutant and nobody knows, but like he's not super soldier. He's not all this stuff, but the things that he can do are beyond what a normal person can do. And I think
they don't really lead.
No, he's just a badass
he's
archer.
Just a normal. Yeah, he's just a normal guy that.
Yeah. Although in Ultron he does get hurt, and I think that was realistic. Like when he gets shot, I think with one of those blaster things, and you actually see like the singe and like he's all fucked up. It's like hey, Hawkeye's down, you know. It's like like you almost like. I think he even says that in the Hawkeye show, like I'm fighting with these like gods, basically. I'm just me, or whatever. So no, I love it. I there's so many moments, and Infinity War is all about the moments. And
I actually wasn't sure how I felt about Endgame when I left the theater from seeing Endgame. I kind of wasn't sure if I liked it. Like I had to really think about the movie after to decide if I liked it or not.
I think I saw Endgame 3 times in 2 days.
Yeah, like it wasn't until the second time I saw it that I liked it, because I was just like, I was pissed that they killed Black Widow and that Hawkeye and her couldn't be together, and you know what I mean? Like, so I was like, that bothered me. And I knew Iron Man was gonna like. I knew I was expecting him to die.
It was him or Cap. Like that was always my thing.
One of those two knew it would be one of the two, but then I wasn't sure I loved what they did with Captain America is just an old guy now. Like that kind of pissed me off. I was like, so what? Like what? I don't know. Yeah, because like I don't know. They wanted him to live his life and whatever.
Yeah, I feel like that was a total tie to the first Avenger. Like it totally tied up that movie because it's almost like I'm gonna need a rain check for that dance, whatever. Like
so like
really
I
tied
had to
Logan.
think about it to get to accept that's
Yeah.
what they did with him, because I was kind of like, so he's just going to be nothing now, like he lives and he's just this old guy. But then like, it's like, oh, it's so he could go back and live a life and whatever.
Peggy.
Yeah.
But I don't know,
I
there was a lot to think about after watching that one.
It was just like, I mean, again, it was just such, again, I think Endgame, like, okay, a couple things. So when Tony gets stabbed on Titan in Infinity War, when I saw it in the theater, you could hear a pin drop. And I was ready. Like, I was expecting someone to die in Infinity War. And I thought he was going to die in that one. And then he was going to be avenged, I guess, in the next movie by, like, I thought all bets are off. So literally when it went in, I felt it. Like a little like water started to come down because I'm like, oh shit, this is it. Like, this is fucking it. Because the thing is, remember, Iron Man was losing, he was losing cool points from Ultron. Like, he has kept falling down further and further and further, Civil War further, and then finally Infinity War was like his redemption. It's like, holy shit, like you just show up, hit your like chest thing, and then like your armor comes on. That first scene in the street, we all lost our shit. Like, what? Yeah. Like, so like that movie, and I'm sorry, I'm ranting now. Iron Man and fucking Doctor Strange, MVPs, and Spider-Man, the three of them. Yeah. Oh, and Thor. Like, anyway, but Iron Man, like, just so for him to, it would have made a lesser studio would have killed him off in that scene. Yeah. But I was like, you know what? Okay, if you're leaving him alive now, whatever you do next has got to top that death on fucking Titan, because you literally, like, it was just, dude, Thanos is kicking everyone's ass, and you went toe to toe with fucking Thanos. I'm sorry, I'm getting excited now.
Yeah, and like, you almost had it. Like
the shield.
Was that when she was trying to pull the helmet off? Or
the gauntlet? Yeah, that was right before. So the Titan was a gauntlet thing, right? But basically, fucking Star-Lord fucked it up, and then basically Thanos has worked everybody. The only one left standing was fucking Tony, and it was Tony and Thanos, and Tony actually drew blood from his temple, like all that for a drop of blood, Yeah. And then literally after he stabs him, he's like, I hope they remember you. Like, it was all set.
Yeah, and then he pieces out and leaves him behind. Like, you're like, fuck.
Well, because of fucking Doctor Strange. Anyways, I'm sorry. Thank you for letting me have that moment.
But okay, so I'll tell you this. My son, my youngest son, biggest Iron Man fan. From the time that he could pick his Halloween costume, he was Iron Man every single year. So let me tell you that sitting in that theater when Tony Stark died, my son bawling. Like, and I prepared him beforehand. Like, I didn't know, but I told him, I was like, you need to be ready because one of two characters is probably going to die in this film. I was like, there is a chance that Iron Man will die. You have to be ready. He's like, I know. And when Iron Man died, just fucking waterworks, like just total devastation. Like, because like I said, every single year, without fail, Iron Man for Halloween, new Iron Man costume, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was his favorite character. So like that scene in Endgame, just like, oof. And I mean, it was already hitting me, right? Like even though I knew it was coming, like it already hit. And the way he does it, like the fucking I am Iron Man, and then
I know, it was good. It was good.
And the music too. Sorry.
Oh,
the
yeah.
music is, I can't take it. And they do that music in the beginning and the end. So when he goes to sleep in the, they play that music, and then that music forever is going to play in my head when the shit happens in my real life. It's going to be that music in my brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking epic.
I don't know. So I don't know how many more movies are in how many are there altogether? Because I feel like I'm only halfway and I'm up to like 17.
If you get into phase 4, you're getting around 27, 28
I can't
movies?
divide phase. Like, I'm just going to watch all the movies to this point.
Okay.
Yeah, by the time you do
right
that,
up to the Wakanda and the newest Thor.
Yeah, if you drag it all, you'll probably get to the point where Quantumania is on Disney Plus also. So yeah, if you're just doing the movies, then
right.
Yeah, I think there's 20 27 movies
I
total.
still
now.
never went to see the new Ant-Man. I feel kind of guilty because Paul Rudd's my pretend boyfriend. I feel like I should have gone to see it already, but I just didn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't in the mood.
Yeah, it was.
So I'll probably
it's
just wait
interesting.
for, like, at this point, I'll probably just wait for it to come out because
Yeah,
I think.
it's not far off. It'll be out probably in the next month and a half.
But I had planned on going when it came out, and then I don't know, whatever was going on that weekend, and it just kept getting pushed off, and now I'm kind of like, well, there's no point.
Yeah,
Says here 31.
It's
but I
what
think that's including shows. It
Well,
has
this-
to be including
okay.
shows.
The films have been in production, and that number has released 31 films with at least 11 more in various stages of development. This is according to Wikipedia. But
that makes sense because I'm up to watching 17 or 18,
I have 23.
and I feel like I'm only halfway.
I have 23 before Phase 4. There weren't 8 movies in Phase 4.
Black
Well,
Widow,
Eternals and all that.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7. Oh, there's 7 in Phase 4, and then Quantumania is 8.
Holy shit! Wow. Oh,
Yeah,
you know what though? I'm forgetting that Quantumania started a whole new
Phase 5.
phase. Yeah, Phase 5.
I find the
Interesting.
phases confusing.
Yeah.
And Phase 5 is shorter. It's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is, will make me happy because that was my big complaint about Phase 4. Too much.
So Quantumania is the start of it. So what
Yeah.
else what's coming then?
Guardians 3,
Oh, right.
The Marvels, Captain America, New World Order, Thunderbolts, and then finally Blade.
Oh,
I'm stoked for Blade. Number one, I love Mahershala Ali. Like that dude is dope. So I'm ready for his Blade movie.
God, I kind of was not even thinking that Blade was part of this.
Well,
And I don't know anything about the Thunder whatever either.
Thunderbolts, you do a little bit. Thunderbolts, Yelena is going to be in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and Ross from the Hulk. Like it's going to tie to the Hulk, really. Well, both of them will, I think.
Well, I think what
yeah.
will make the Thunderbolts cool, and it's something that the MCU needs right now, is it's something that's different. That everybody's been the same heroes for so long, and I think the Thunderbolts is a chance to tell a different kind of story. Like they're the kind of anti-heroes. They're almost like they're the better Suicide Squad. Yeah.
Okay, and so the Marvels one, is that going to be like pulling Miss Marvel and
Yes.
3 of them.
Yeah,
the
Captain
girl
Marvel,
from
Monica
Hawkeye?
Rambeau, and no, not the girl from Hawkeye. Monica
Oh.
Rambeau, who's from Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. She's from
Yeah,
WandaVision.
mhm.
She's the daughter of the girl in
Yeah.
And Kamala Khan from Miss Marvel.
who for me, Miss Marvel, I think, was probably my favorite Disney Plus show.
I really liked it too.
Yeah, I love that one.
I think that probably would be my second.
But I loved Hawkeye. It was because it was
Hawkeye,
fun.
And then I think Miss Marvel, and then probably Loki would be my
Oh.
WandaVision isn't even in my top 3. I found
Fascinating.
the beginning of WandaVision so fucking boring. I did
I
not
loved
want to
it.
watch TV in the 50s. Like I hated it. I just couldn't get into it. And then actually Jessica, Jamie's daughter, was like, just keep going, it gets better, blah blah blah. And so because she had watched it, and she's actually a big DC fan. So the kids all wanted to be Batman. 3 of 4 grandkids were Batman for Halloween because they're just all, Batman, I guess, it has more things and more toys and more the branding is better. And so for kids, I think they gravitate more easily to Superman and Batman than a Marvel thing, right? I just think.
I think especially when we were younger, when comic book movies weren't 7 of them every single year.
Yeah.
Batman was okay to be the gritty character. That's because Batman was, but Superman should have always been light. Christopher Reeve was still, to this day, is the best Superman. I think Superman and Lois on the CW is an absolutely fantastic telling of Superman, and it's better than, to me, as far as the character goes, is better than Man of Steel as far as the character goes. Now, Man of Steel is a great movie. I do like the movie, but that wasn't Superman. That was a dude with Superman's powers that was kind of a dick. Like
I've seen all the DC ones. It's just they're not something I care if I watch again.
Mhm.
So they're never going to beat Marvel for me because
yeah, Man of Steel is the
I
only one that I
just
really like.
don't.
The first Wonder Woman was almost there, and then they fumbled the bag at the
I
end.
have rewatched Wonder Woman because we like I own it. And I've rewatched like the I'm trying to remember the name of the guy that was Batman, like Batman Returns and
Oh, Michael Keaton.
no, the guy
The Dark
before
Knight,
Affleck. Yeah.
Christian Bale.
Oh, Bale.
Christian
Yeah,
Bale. So
His
his
Batman movies were
Batmans I've
great.
seen
Yes.
multiple times.
yeah.
And so I don't know, I kind of
That was probably the best tone of a Batman. Like I know that people were
like I
stoked
liked
for.
those Batman ones.
Yeah,
And then
people were excited
I wouldn't
about
say I hated
Batman.
Affleck, but
Well, I will. I hate Ben Affleck.
I know you don't. But no,
uh,
I didn't mind. It's just not like the Batman versus Superman. I cannot pay attention to it.
See, the people that were excited about that were because of the comic book story that it was based on. So
Jamie
it was,
liked it.
yeah, it was very
He liked
accurate
that
to the
movie,
comic
and
books.
we've watched it a couple times. And every time we put it on, I try to pay attention, and then I just don't care. I lose interest. I can't tell you what happens in that movie. So
I like the Ultimate Edition. I agree that it is not either of them. It's an elsewhere tale. It's not really true to their characters.
Yeah.
But I do think it's high art. I mean, fuck it. I just said it. I think it's high art. I think it's gorgeously shot.
I think it's beautifully shot. I just think there were so many fucking holes in the plot. I think
you have to watch the Ultimate Edition.
Oh, I've watched. There's nothing
The
ultimate about the Ultimate Edition. It's the less flaming dumpster fire edition. Like they're not good. Like it's just They tried.
It was ambitious. It tried to
Sure.
make social commentary on like, this
Sure.
isn't Smallville anymore. This isn't the 50. Like it was trying to say, look,
I know what they were doing. I
Yeah.
just think it sucked.
yeah. I mean, I liked it. I liked it.
The biggest bummer,
I'd stop finding
biggest
it.
bummer for me is that the best part of the Justice League when they redid the Justice League
Yeah.
was the Flash, and it turns out he's a total D-bag. I'm like, God damn it! Why did you have to be a piece of shit? Like,
and he
Ezra
played
Miller.
a good Flash. Like
he was so good.
He was really good.
I was so excited for the Flash movie until it turned out he was a fucking psycho. Then I'm like, I can't do it. I'll watch it when it's on HBO or something maybe, but I'm not paying money to see that in the theater. And I love Keaton. I love Keaton. As a matter
I
of fact,
feel bad for everybody else that's involved in
Mhm.
the movie because they're getting fucking shit under the stick there.
I just watched Keaton's Batman with my kids 2 weeks ago for the first time.
Yeah.
Like they had never seen it. And for me,
It's
I was
been
like,
a long time since I've seen it. Like
for me,
I don't know if
maybe
I
just the
would-
first one. I don't know that I even need to see the second one. I remember liking it, but the first Keaton Batman is probably still my favorite Batman, even over the Christian Bale ones. Over
Wow,
that one felt like a comic book to me.
that's fair.
Like
who was the bad guy in that one?
Joker, Jack Nicholson,
Jack Nicholson's Joker. Okay.
89.
who was untouchable until Heath Ledger was like, "Oh, I'll
Which one
I'll
was
handle this.
Danny DeVito's Penguin?
That was the
I
second
remember
one.
that as
Yeah.
a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, it was old to adult.
It was kind of creepy.
Yeah,
I didn't like it, honestly.
It was a hair too dark.
The best, but what Catwoman was amazing. I thought she killed that role personally. Michelle Pfeiffer, I liked her. In that.
Yeah, she was solid. But that was like that was the beginning of the trend of too many villains in Batman movies.
Yeah,
Like it started to fall apart. Plus, what's his face? Joel Schumacher is just shit. Anyways, he's just garbage.
but wait, Joel, yeah, it was Burton for the first two.
Yeah, Burton.
Yeah.
It was a different feel, right? Like Dark was it called The Dark Knight? What was it called? The second one.
Batman Returns.
Batman
And
Returns.
The
That's
third
right.
one was Schumacher, which was Batman Forever, which I saw the night before I graduated. So it was like June 15th, 1995.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they were not. The Schumacher ones were bad. Like the Batman Returns tried to take the darkness of the first one, but make it like dark and get rid of the humor, which was always interesting to me. Like you cast Danny DeVito, but you take all of the
He's
funny
gross.
that guy.
He was gross in that movie.
Yeah.
He was creepy. I just remember like I don't know how old I would have been.
He
when
was
I
always in
I
his
just,
fucking underpants too. Like, I was
yeah, I
like,
just remember
We would have been
feeling like
13, 14.
yeah, like I just remember thinking it was kind of creepy.
Yeah,
And I've
as
probably
a,
seen it since. I think I've seen it since then, but
yeah,
like, if it's on TV and I catch it or
yeah.
whatever.
Even
But
his fingers were all fucked up and
Yep.
shit. When he
yes, it was
died, like all the
weird.
penguins come out and like lift his
It was
body.
so
And,
weird. Oh
Yeah,
God.
it was weird. It was definitely weird, and it was a take on the Penguin that I think they didn't need to do. Like, because he was a crime boss. Like, he was,
yeah.
yes, he was weird. He was short and weird and all that. And I think they, with the Pattinson's Batman, I think they went too far the other way on the Penguin, where he was too much of a mob boss. Like, he's supposed to be little and weird, but he is also a mob boss.
Like in Gotham.
Sort of, but he wasn't bad enough. Like, they're like all these things that they don't quite get right. But at least in Gotham, it was like the rise of the Penguin. So you could argue that maybe he wasn't the. But that guy actually did a great job. I think he was a good skeezy little weaselly guy working his way up. So, but
So weird. I don't know. I'm not gonna rewatch the DC movies.
You shouldn't have to.
I won't put those in order.
Remember, I walked out of Shazam. Like and people.
I know. I think that's
surprised.
funny.
Yeah.
that breaks my heart because I wanted that one to be good. Even
I
though
did
I wasn't
too.
going to go see it in theater, I wanted that one to be good.
I mean, I'll probably watch it when it comes out.
I'll watch it as
I
soon
will
as it comes
too.
out, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll watch it, but dude, I was falling asleep.
I actually still don't know if I've ever even looked up a trailer for it. Like, I have not seen anything on it.
Because that was my complaint. It was the worst marketing for that film.
Yeah.
Because they started pushing the Flash because they need the money back from the Flash.
Well,
they didn't need the money from Shazam as much as they need the money from the Flash.
They have to try to make themselves right for keeping the Flash.
Yep. Yep. And it was expensive. They did all the reshoots and everything. It's like a $200 million movie.
Did they reshoot to cut some of his scenes?
No, they reshot because they brought in Keaton when he wasn't in. Like, there was all kinds of stuff that they reshot and re-added and all this stuff. It's a really expensive movie. And then with the marketing and everything else, they need to make something like 400 million on it for it to break even.
And it hasn't come out yet.
Nope.
It comes out when?
June,
like the summer? Oh.
June, yeah.
Yeah, June 16th.
Yeah.
I wonder what comes out around it, because if nothing else good is coming out, it might.
I think, I think I said it on the show
what
before.
comes
I
out.
think it'll do okay. I think it'll make its money back. I don't want it to. Because I'm just like, everybody involved needs to learn a fucking lesson. Like, DC should have dropped it when he was a piece of shit.
Can they hold him accountable for, like, could they sue him somehow or not
You
pay
could,
him
but
somehow by, like, you caused us to lose all this money by being an idiot?
you could if it was in his contract.
Like, I just feel
but if
like he
it's-
shouldn't get paid.
But if you don't have like a morality clause in the contract for these actors, they're not accountable for anything they do offset.
I bet you Disney has one.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do.
And I say Disney, I mean MCU. Like, I feel like, but I also feel like they just are better. They're better judges of character.
They have been until this whole Jonathan Majors thing. That one, I'm curious. But they're like after
That'll blow
that
over,
happened,
I think.
maybe. But there were a lot of people like from his past, like that worked with him, that came out and were like, "Yeah, he actually."
Oh, really?
does
I haven't
suck.
seen
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen anything. I think they've got Kev. I feel like they've got some people out there like hushing people up because there's been nothing. It's been crickets.
Yeah,
ever since.
it will blow over if
Yes.
nobody says anything
Paying
else.
people to shut up.
Yes.
Yeah, if nobody says anything else, it'll blow over. If something else comes out, Disney will have to act. Because especially because of what they did with James Gunn. Like, they've set a precedent where they will act, and maybe they learned their lesson from that because they acted a little too quickly with James Gunn and they fired him and then brought him back. And I always thought that their reaction was a little extreme when they fired him. It was more than a
But you know
slap on
what
the
though?
wrist.
It was during the height of Me Too. Like, I feel like
Yes, it was bad
I think
timing
they
also.
had to act quickly. I love the eye roll, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, it was like if they had to like they weren't. Yeah, they weren't. They couldn't fuck around. I defend their decision. You know, I mean, yes, it was fucked up. They alienated the cast of Guardians, but I understand why they did it.
Yeah,
I do.
yeah, yeah. I don't blame. I honestly, with that whole thing, I don't blame anybody involved on either side. I think it was just unfortunate the way that things played. They had to play the way they did. I think with Jonathan Majors, the fact
Honestly,
that
I would recast. I'm sorry. I'm a dick, but like if I was Disney, I'm like I don't even want to.
What was coming next for him? So after the new Ant-Man,
everything, he's going to be Kang and
Yes.
so much.
He's
He's
gonna
the new
be
Thanos.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I-
The
He was going to be showing up in all the other.
Yes.
like,
The advantage they have
He's
is
gonna be
like
Loki,
he's
I think.
all variants, so you could recast him and just say he's somebody else, and he's just a variant,
that's
you know,
true. Yeah,
and they're okay. But he's so fucking good. Like that's the
Yeah.
part that
I
sucks.
do
Is
like
he's
him, yeah.
so good. He's so fucking charismatic and so like he just eats up the screen. Even in Quantumania, like when
Yeah.
he was on the screen, he stole the show. And yeah.
Well, I just rewatched Loki because I wanted to watch that again before.
He's so good at the
seeing
end of Loki.
new Ant-Man.
Oh,
So
I loved him at the end. Like because in my life, in real life, I had just watched Lovecraft Country, where he is, you know, he's that guy, and then you watch the end of Loki, and he's almost jovial, like he's like, oh, and it was such a shift, and he was so good that I was like, this guy is fucking legit. Like that's when I knew, like I liked him in Lovecraft Country, but when I saw how different he was in Loki, like I was stoked to see this guy's career, and if everything just blows off and goes away and Disney doesn't have to act and this guy can finally get his head on straight and never fuck up again, his career is like sky's the limit for this guy if he doesn't screw up.
well,
He's
just
so
needs to
talented. He just needs to
date
follow
better
Andrew's rules. Yeah.
Yeah.
don't
Or just be
date.
single, dude.
Just don't date anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Avoid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
So
don't know.
yeah, we'll see.
I don't know how that's gonna play out, but I haven't actually seen anything else at all, like in my feed.
Yeah, it's
on
completely
what's happening with
gone.
him. So
Yeah. It doesn't hurt him that American politics have taken over the fucking news. So he can just be
I
like,
think if he
"Woo."
just lays low for a while, people will forget.
Yeah.
'Cause they've got short attention spans.
Yeah,
right?
and supposedly he had a bunch of proof that he didn't do this one thing. And so, like, to be fair, if he was a dick before they hired him, but nobody ever filed a complaint, like at least with Gunn, they had receipts, right? You had all people had these posts that he made, and so Disney was like, fuck. Like, if you don't have the receipts and this one thing comes out and he can prove himself good, then he's good. As long as he doesn't fuck up again.
Yes.
You know, or fuck up at all. Let me say at all, because, you know, innocent until proven guilty, and he says he's got the proof that he was innocent. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope he is, like, you know, for as messed up as it is, I hope this is a crazy woman trying to get out in front of, you know, somebody's career, and that he's not a bad dude. Because like I said, if he comes out clean, the sky's the limit for this dude. He's so talented.
He was just taken off, right? Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
he had so many
Creed
things.
3, you know. Yeah.
Some other indie film. He's a bodybuilder. I keep forgetting what it's called, but something Dreams. Like
Yeah, and then he did the World War II one where he was the pilot.
Yeah.
In World War II. Like he's just beginning, so he just needs to disappear and only act and then be a fucking ninja. Like when he's not making a film, he needs to be like
Go in hiding.
Yeah. Let everything
Why I
blow
feel
over.
like it would be better, like, for actors to not actually live in Hollywood, like have a house
Mhm.
somewhere else and not be sucked into the, you know, media.
I always said, I remember when Kobe Bryant first got himself in trouble all those years ago. I was like, if I was famous, I would as soon as somebody walked into someplace I was, there would be video cameras on. And I'd be like, if you want to do any of this, you just sign this knowing that the shit's here. You can't say I did anything because I've got proof everywhere and we're good. Yeah. Like you got to figure out how to protect yourself. because even if you do everything right, somebody's out there to get you, you know?
Well, I mean, some people are just looking to try to get money, right? So
Exactly.
even
Some
if
people
they
are just
lie,
out to get you.
lie and make it up just to try to get you to
Mhm.
pay them to shut up.
Yep.
I don't know. It's a tough one, but I think he'll bounce back.
I hope so. Like I said, as long as he doesn't screw up, he'll bounce back. If he screws up again, then he's
Yeah.
in bad shape.
I mean, he'd be pretty stupid to do anything else.
You'd be surprised though.
Well,
No, I mean,
Well,
as far as people's capability, capacity, look at fucking Ezra, dude. Like, I'm just saying, like, motherfuckers are dumb out there. Like,
Yeah.
you
yeah.
know.
I mean, people are mostly stupid. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about him lately either.
Nope.
Yeah,
he is-
it's like he's
Like,
legitimately on ice.
did they lock him in a room?
yes,
somewhere
I 100%
he's like
believe.
they put him in a cell until like June gets
The
here.
DC was like, dude, we need to make money. Like I firmly believe somebody at Disney like literally, or a DC literally kidnapped that dude and put him in a box.
Yeah, he's like they
he is
stuck him in a
gone.
hotel room.
He is gone. Like half of me wonders if they just killed him. Like he's just at the
He
bottom of
might
a like they Jimmy Hoffa his ass, and they're just like
He's dead somewhere.
Yeah.
Sometime in August they'll be like, I don't know, they found his body.
Yeah. Look
Yeah.
at go check out the bottom of Lake Michigan. He's down there.
Oh my
And you
God.
know what? Honestly, that's crazy because I can already see it happening. We called the Academy Award for Everything Everywhere All at Once and the best actress. So that'll be some weird shit if it turns out that something does happen to Ezra, and like we said it first. Like that's fucking crazy. Like that's
Yeah.
but it could be good for ticket sales.
Right? Yeah, if his body shows up before everybody's like,
Right, the week
he's not
before.
around
This is the
anymore?
last thing he ever did.
Yeah,
The
it's
mystery.
like, well, he might have sucked, but now he's not going to get any money from it, so I'll go watch the movie. Yay, Michael Keaton. You know, like,
That'd be fun.
if the FBI is listening, we're just kidding. We're not involved.
Totally
We're
kidding.
just guessing.
They
Yeah,
did not murder anyone.
yeah.
No.
Ezra Miller is just fine.